I'm sure you have seen a Word document that proudly said accessibility is good to go. But then you realize when you turn on your screen reader, it says nothing. That perfect looking document is 100% useless to a real user. And the wild part, millions of documents like that are being shared every single day. So today, I'm going to show you how to make a Microsoft Word document that does not just pass the accessibility checker, it actually works for everyone. And this is part 1 of my new series on making Word, PowerPoint, and PDF documents accessible. So, if you want the entire content ecosystem to be inclusive, this is where it starts. Stick around till the end because I'll share my accessibility checklist for Word, the same one used in the Fortune 500 companies. Hi accessibility champion, I'm Param Singh, and on this channel we build an inclusive and accessible digital experiences that actually work for people and not just to tick off a compliance checklist. Whether you write reports, policies, contracts, school material, or training documents in Word, I'm going to walk you step by step on how to make your Word documents accessible. By the end of this video, you will have a document that could pass a real world accessibility audit. And more importantly, that real users with disabilities can actually use. So let's dive in. Alright, here's something most people don't realize. Every accessible document starts right here in Microsoft Word, because Word isn't just a word processor. It's literally the launchpad for your tagged PDFs, EPUBs, and even HTML. So if you mess it up here, you are basically exporting a disaster in 3 different formats. To begin, always start clean in Word. It's 10 times easier to make it accessible here than to fix a broken PDF later. When you are done, you can export it anywhere, PDF, EPUB, HTML. But if you want the most accessible version, go for HTML every single time. Keep it simple, plain text, real headings, descriptive images, no floating boxes, no fake tables. Because every extra layout trick you add now is another accessibility bug waiting to happen later. Simplicity is not boring. It's accessibility at its smartest. If you know me, you know I don't wait for accessibility issues to show up. I design them out from day 1. And we are doing the same with Word documents. So before we add text, images, or headings, we lock in the most important thing, the document language. But why does it matter? It helps screen readers pronounce words correctly and switch voices automatically for multilingual content. And here's how you can do it. Go to Tools, then go to Language. In the pop-up dialog, select the language and click OK. You can also check the options for default if it's applicable. And if your Word document have text in different languages for the different parts of the page, simply select that text, go to Review tab, under Languages, set it to Spanish language. Choose the correct language that is accurate representation of what is present in the Word document. Now it's time to give your document a structure. Structure is what turns content into navigation. Just like on web, people don't read every word, they jump between sections. For sighted users, headings visually chunk content. For screen reader users, headings are the GPS of your document. Here's what you need to do. Use real word styles H1, H2, and H3. Never fake them with bold or bigger fonts. Each heading should describe the step clearly and in the right order. Your headings must be informative and must follow the right hierarchy. Don't jump headings from H1 to H4. Screen reader users can hit a single key like H when in quick navigation mode to jump between headings. If headings are fake or the structure is random, navigation will break. Next, we have table of contents. If your document is long, add table of contents based on real heading structure. Most people think table of content is just a nice thing to have. But here's the reality. For a sighted users, table of content is convenient. But for a screen reader user, A table of content is navigation. A good table of content gives blind and low vision readers a high-level map of your document. Quick jumps to major sections like introductions, methodology, and results. An equivalent experience similar to visually scanning pages. With a table of content in place, screen readers can jump instantly between different sections. And users don't have to arrow through 40 pages line by line. The best part, when you convert your Word document into a PDF, those table of contents entries become a tagged bookmark, which means true clickable navigation across devices. Without a table of content, a long document becomes a giant wall of text that assistive technologies must crawl from start to finish. Next, we have headers and footers. Screen readers can navigate to headers and footers, but they don't announce them automatically. In Word Online, headers and footers are often hidden in edit mode. So even sighted users might not realize they exist unless they switch to reading view. So if your header says things like confidential, do not distribute, or respond by Friday, that's a vital information, and many users will never hear it. A better approach is to provide any critical information in the main body of the document, usually near the top. Now, if you are using footnotes or endnotes, always use the built-in tools. Simply go to References and insert footnote or insert an endnote. This creates a real navigatable references. As a result, screen readers will automatically announce when footnotes are present in the document. And at that point, users can decide to jump to them and read them or not. Endnotes are treated as normal text in the flow. Remember, footnotes and endnotes should always be created using the insertion tool. Next, we have acronyms. Acronyms makes complete sense when you can see the page. GAD next to a logo or a banner or a heading makes perfect sense. But for a screen reader user, there is no visual context. They are simply relying on words to make sense of the things. So when they hear GAD, it's just noise unless you define it. So always expand acronyms at least once. Say GAD as Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Accessibility is clarity, and clarity is inclusion. Next, we have columns. Columns look great in print, but screen readers read your content linearly. If you fake columns with spaces or tabs, assistive technologies reads line 1 of column 1, then line 1 of column 2, which is total chaos and does not make any sense. So never create columns manually with spaces or tabs. Always use page layout and then select columns tool. That way, Word marks column boundaries properly and screen readers can read it in a logical order. Superscripts and subscripts are tricky. Most screen readers ignore them and read text normally. For example, your E equals to MC square becomes E equals MC2. Unless it's absolutely necessary, avoid them. Next, we have page numbers. Sighted people always know what page they are on. The numbers are right there. But for many screen reader users, that page number is silent because it usually lives in the header or footer section. And if you recall, the content within the header and footer is not read automatically by a screen reader. They can go and look for it. So yes, use page numbers for printing or referencing purposes. But just don't rely on them as the primary way to navigate. Accessibility relies on headings, table of contents, and proper structure, not on page numbers. Next, we have links. And links are not just links. They are navigation, trust, and clarity for people using screen readers. Bad links confuse users, trap them, or make the entire document feel unusable. So follow these 6 golden rules. Always use Word's insert link tool and never depend on raw URLs. Raw URLs sound like this to a screen reader: https:// /1932. You got the point. That's total torture. The link tool gives you clean, meaningful text. At number 2, make links visually distinct. If links look like normal text, low vision users cannot find them. Always use color and an underline to make it fully accessible. Number 3, write meaningful link text. Never have click here or read more. Screen readers let user pull a list of links, and if that list says click here, or read more, that's 100% useless. A better approach is to make the purpose clear. For example, say become a member. And by the way, if you have not done it already, join our growing community by becoming a member for early access to meaningful videos and member-only content. And number 4, don't repeat the word link in the link text. Screen readers always announce link at the end. Adding a link again is repetitive and noisy. And number 5, include the full URL in the printable or static version. For users who rely on speech to text or prefer printed documents, the URL ensures the destination is preserved. And lastly, the link's purpose must be clear from the link text alone. No guessing, no hidden context. If someone hears only the link text, they should know exactly where. Next, we have styles and appearance. Meaningful information must never rely on visuals alone. This is similar to what we have on web. And some of the golden rules are: always keep contrast ratio at 4.5:1. Don't rely on color to convey meaning. Avoid flashing, blinking, or decorative fonts. Line space must be at least at 1.5 times. Align text left and not justified. When you talk about text and fonts, both serif and sans serif fonts are fine, but avoid overly decorative or hard to read ones. Simple rules are: use font size that should be at least 10 point. Avoid using all caps for emphasis. It's harder to read and sounds shouty in some contexts. Don't rely on bold, italics, underline, or highlighting alone to convey meaning. If you use strike through to show removed content, explain it somewhere else as well. Avoid drop caps and word arts. They rarely add value, but often hurt accessibility. Now, if you want to use symbols, make sure their meaning is explained in plain text. Next, we have images. All meaningful images must have alternate text. And here's how you can do it. Simply right-click on the image, go to Edit, Alt Text. Ensure that a good alt text is provided, describing the purpose of the image and not just what it looks like. Keep your alt text under 150 characters and avoid using phrases such as image of or graphic of. And in case you have decorative images, mark them as decorative so a screen reader can skip them. Another best practice is to avoid floating images. They can jump around in the reading order. Use inline with the text instead. Smart objects are good, but it must be positioned inline. And it must have an alternate text. And if they are complex, a long description nearby must be provided. Avoid using watermarks and background images because they interfere with the readability of your document. Next, we have tables. Tables are powerful, but only when they are actually built like tables. For screen reader users, a table isn't a visual, it's a math. It's rows, columns, and coordinates and relationships. If you build it wrong, a screen reader can't understand it, and they get lost instantly. So here's how to make a table truly accessible. Use insert table and never draw table. Draw table often creates odd cell structures that aren't recognizable. Use one header row or one header column. Screen readers then announce your row column values. Avoid merged, split, or nested cells. Merged and nested cells break navigation and create confusion. Never use tables as layout tools. When you use tables just to position text, screen readers treat it as data, and users get stuck in a maze. Tables give users raw facts, but charts give users stories trends, and comparison information. We need to ensure that your charts are having meaningful alternate text. And in case those are complex infographics, provide information below the chart, explaining the entire thing in a data table. In case you're embedding files, ensure you're providing alternate text to those embedded files too. For an embedded Excel sheet, use something like embedded Excel file with raw monthly sales data. Alright, charts are done, but now we are entering the danger zone. Because forms in Word, they are basically accessibility traps. Let me explain. Most creators don't realize this, but Word was never designed to be a fully accessible form building tool. That's why 99% of Word forms fail screen reader testing. Not because people don't care, but because Word simply doesn't give you the structure that HTML or a tagged PDF provides. So here's the truth. Word forms are rarely accessible even if they look fine. Visually, they look polished. Text boxes, checkboxes, drop-downs. But to a screen reader, many of those controls are announced as edit, blank, or worse, not announced at all. A user can't understand what the text box is for, what they are supposed to input. And for a form, that's the most important thing. If your form collects important information, don't build it in Word. Build it in HTML for most robust, most predictable, and most accessible version. You can use tagged PDF to generate accessible forms. These formats let you bind labels, make fields required, add tooltips, control reading order, and support keyboard navigation consistently. Word document just can't compete with that. Next, we have math and equation. Math is also one of the fastest way a Word document becomes inaccessible because most screen readers can't interpret equations correctly. So here's the simple rule. Use math type or mathml. This creates real mathml, which screen readers can read accurately, including operators, fractions, and exponents. As a backup option, use image with alt text. If mathml is not possible, export the equation as an image and provide a meaningful alternate text describing the full equation, or alternatively, add a short text explanation. For complex equations, include one line explaining it in plain language. Next, we have tracking and reviewing changes. Track changes is great for collaboration, but for screen reader users, it can get confusing really fast. And here's the best practice to keep it accessible. Provide a clean version as well. Tracked markup can sound chaotic, deleted, inserted, comment, or strike out. Offering the original and the edited version helps users understand the content. I have seen users opening the commented one or the revised version and having the original version on the other monitor so that they compare side by side. Keep your comments meaningful. Screen readers announce comments in context, so make them clear, short, and specific. Avoid relying on color. Don't use color alone to show updates. Screen readers, as you already know, won't catch that difference. In a nutshell, tracked changes are helpful, but they create extra cognitive load. Give user options and keep your edits clean. Next up, the built-in accessibility checker. It's like XDevTools for Word. Useful, but not perfect. Here's what it can find. Errors, serious barriers that break accessibility. Warnings that are potential issues that confuse users. Tips to improving the usability. But remember, it only finds a subset of issues. It does not know if your alt text is meaningful. It does not know if your heading structure actually makes sense. For additional rules, you can look up the official rules used by Accessibility Checker. The last step and the most critical one is saving and exporting. When you are done, don't skip the finish line. This is where most Word documents lose their accessibility. To save your Word document responsibly, go to File, then to Properties, and under Summary, fill out the title, author, and subject. These are not nice to have. Screen readers use this metadata to help users identify and organize documents. And in the end, export it in the right way. When exporting to PDF, always turn on the best for electronics distribution and accessibility. This single check preserves your headings, your alt text and your table structure, your reading order, and your hyperlink semantics. Basically, it protects all the accessibility work that you have put in. And if you forget the tags, your accessible Word document turns into an inaccessible PDF in one click. Don't let your work disappear at the finish line. Let's be real. Most inaccessible Word documents were not created out of neglect. They were created out of ignorance. But now, you know better. You just learned how to make Word documents inclusive, from headings to tables, links, and maths. And that means your content isn't just readable, it's equitable. If you love learning about digital accessibility and want to contribute to our mission, join our membership program. We have 4 different levels: Accessibility Ally, where you get loyalty badges, priority replies, and member-only live chats. Accessibility Champion, you get access to member-only polls and charts. Accessibility Masters, the most popular, is where you get early access to videos along with member-only videos. And then 4th, we have Accessibility Leaders to get a bi-weekly call for 30 minutes with me. Your support keeps this channel creating free resources that makes our world inclusive, one document at a time. If this video helped you, like this video and comment Accessibility Master to download the free checklist for Word document. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week we are actually building a Word document from scratch. See you in the next one.